Hey folks, Kevin and Thea here.
Hi everybody, good to see you.
Well, it's New Year's Day today when we're sitting down and recording this video and all, and I thought what we'd do, I asked Thea earlier this morning, do you want to sit down and just sort of do a recap of last year and then talk a little bit about next year, what our thoughts and all are. So, You want to refer to your notes, or do you know where to start?
Oh, I got it.
She's got it.
So, for 2024, it was a really busy year for us. We got a lot of projects done, and we'll go into detail each one, but like the nursery and the book selling and our gardens here for food we eat, and all. And so those kind of things. And Kevin, of course, was on equipment, this year, and organizing the barn. Those are kind of the topics that I came up with, which seem to be the big, headings of things.
So as far as projects other than the gardens and nursery up here in the bookstore, all of those things, starting off with what sort of things did we get accomplished this year? Well, I don't want to say finished up, but we made a lot of progress with transplanting trees in the early spring into the third food forest, which was a major ordeal because we totally rethought, after having years of experience with the various food forests, how we wanted to change our approaches, more spread out, all of the things that we've talked about in the past, and really, having a strong regenerative approach with having not just companion plants and guilds like we've talked about with permaculture and all, but allowing all of the wildlife in there, making it easier to maintain and manage in the future, each one, because we had trees and plants planted so close together, weeds could overcrowd the areas and be a big problem.
And therefore taking a lot more time to maintain, trying to get the mower and the weed whacker and all that stuff in between them.
Yeah, so it does take a lot of time just doing routine property management, because we have so many acres to mow and all that. So other things that we accomplished with the heavy equipment this year, we did do quite a few transplants of small trees as well, pawpaws and persimmons and chestnuts, Chinese chestnut hybrids. And then we did a fair amount of work in the first and second food forest. There's still a lot more to be done in those areas, but we're making progress. We removed extra swales which started in 2023 that we finished in 2024. So those were really important when we were first developing the property, because it was all rocky, stony, stone walls and lots of dead ash trees. We put in the large hugelkultur pits, and hugelkultur just refers to mounded up woody material and earth, soil covering it. But what we do is we dig down with the excavator, bury all that woody material, and then cover it up with the remaining soil. And then over time that breaks down and enriches the soil as time goes on. This year we continued our operations with work down around the beaver ponds. We installed a new pond down there, which took basically the whole summer because we didn't have the dry summer that we usually have. So all of the pieces of equipment did a lot of work down there. We did some more widening of our roadways, which required hauling a lot more stone and woody debris as well. I think those were the main things that I can think of that we needed the heavy equipment for. We did just that pond. The year I did do a lot of some of the cleaning up of the prior years. In 2023 on the new property, we had lots of dirt piles that were still there around on the new property by the pond, and so I removed all of those dirt piles and built roadways over there.
You planted some seed there too, right?
Yeah, we planted grass seed around there to try and keep the weeds under control. So that all worked pretty well as far as the heavy equipment. I think that's about it as far as major things we did with the heavy equipment this past year. Thank God we're fortunate enough to have the heavy equipment that we can do those things. We did get a new piece of equipment, the green machine, which is the Avant 860i, which is a compact loader, so it articulates, and that has been a game changer for doing work on the property. The cab is beautiful, it's wonderful.
It's quieter than the others.
Yep, it's quieter, and it allows us to do some of the work that we'd have to use the track loader or the skid loader in the past, or some of the work that the excavator would do, but those with the tracks would always tear up the lawn, where this doesn't do nearly the damage as well. So it's less harsh on the areas that we've already established, but it's powerful, really powerful. Really helps out. We got the tree grabber with it. We got the adjustable hydraulic forks for it, and we got an attachment, a skid steer attachment for the rest of the equipment that would go on the skid steers or track loaders.
And you found it useful, like when you were cutting logs for firewood.
Oh, it's...
And then when we were putting the, I'll say mulch, whatever it was, over there in the garden where the chain link is, and it was so hard to get with any other equipment to get positioned to dump it in.
Yeah, we could always use the excavator to grab a bucket at a time, lift it up over the 6-foot tall chain link fencing and deposit it where we want it. However, because of the location where it was, it made it very difficult. But with the green machine, the Avant 860i, that made it so much easier with that telescopic boom. It just extends out, and then it can go up over the 6-foot tall fencing and deposit it on the other side. So it made life much easier for material management, is what I would say. Besides working in the wood yard, handling all those big logs, which when you're carrying them with the excavator, you can't really drive large logs down a narrow roadway. They're easy in the wood yard itself, but when you're carrying trees that you've harvested in different parts of the property, that has made a big difference having that. So I can carry them right out in front of me, put them in the dump trailer. We were able to get over to the new property with the dump trailer now. The roads are good enough. We're able to do that this year.
You widened the roads too?
Yep, the roads are widened, so they're much better. So I think that's about it as far as the heavy equipment and the major earthworks jobs that we did around here. There's still a lot more to do, and we did just recently pick up the soil conditioner for the Hulk, the track loader. That could work on the green machine as well, but we're going to be using that to start improving our roadways, the surface of them, the driveways, and also condition some of the soil on the new property and up front as well. So that's for next year. So pretty happy about that. What about the nursery? You pretty much ran the nursery this year.
Nursery was good. We sold a lot of plants, not as much as the prior year, but the prior year we had an individual that just went and got hundreds and hundreds and brought them to South Carolina or North Carolina or something. It was nice meeting the people, and they're people that are kind of like us. I mean, they want to get plants that are more native to the area, or maybe they're more health conscious and want, like the currants, things like those type of plants. So it was nice, meeting the people. Everybody was, nice and all. And we'll see, we kind of get a better idea of what does sell and what doesn't sell. So we might make some modifications, focus on one thing versus the other, so that we're not watering tons of plants.
Right.
And we know we're probably not going to sell this particular type, let's say, for example.
Yeah. It is interesting how the cultural diversity that we experience here in the States now, in this part of the country, really does influence what sort of plants people want. So like Ukrainian people all are completely familiar with currant plants and all of the different uses, and they are excited about the currants here.
You can find them, you know.
Yeah. But if you find families that are Irish, Italian, whatever, they're often have no idea what a currant plant is because they just aren't typically sold in most nurseries. Our nursery is just different. It's more for homesteaders or permaculturists or regenerative farmers. Those sorts of people would be more interested in the plants that we sell here.
So when we got, the nursery closed down successfully and the insulation put around them, and the ones that are staying outside, and then we do take some of them, like the figs, and some others inside what used to be the coop area, because it doesn't get, all freezing in there in the winter.
Right.
Yeah.
So the roots will survive,
Yeah.
and all the ones that are tolerant to this climate in Zone 5. Yeah.
So
What else?
I think that's good there. How about the books?
The book sales. So the books, I really took a step back as far as listing books and all that. Geez, probably midsummer was it that I started slowing down.
Because you were outside from dusk to dawn.
Yeah. So it was, we were able to list more books. So for those of you that don't know, we have a used books sale that we sell used books on eBay, and that's worked out pretty well. What we've done is gone to estates, and in the past we'd go to thrift stores, Salvation Army, that sort of thing, see if we could find those older books, antiquarian collectible books, and then resell them on eBay to make a little bit of a profit. That actually, we started doing this a couple of years ago now. Has it been?
Yeah, this is starting our third year.
Yeah, okay. And the reason that we did this was to help to supplement for not having to cash in our individual retirement accounts like our 401ks, that sort of thing, and to supplement our Social Security, to pay for the bills for all of the equipment that we have here and all. So I wanted to do that, so we had to sell fewer of our shares. And it has worked out. It's been a fluctuating but a not insignificant amount of income from selling the used books. The downside to selling books is that they're heavy, and we have a couple thousand in the second floor of our first workshop area there, and they're all in Sterilite containers and all. And it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work to do the whole process, but it went pretty well this season.
I think so, and I think it was you being dyslexic, never liked books,
Yeah.
and it's like a whole new world opened up for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I have an appreciation that I never could have had until we did this. Now, I was very successful in school and all that, and that required books. But any chance that I can get an audible book would be much better than me having to read it because it's so painstaking. But after collecting so many of these books and selling them, wow, the amount of time, effort, the level of expertise and artistic creations that people have put into these works of art is very, very impressive. So I have an appreciation. Even you have a greater appreciation now as well, because the diversity of books that we've been exposed to is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And I like the older ones. It's a funny feeling when you're holding a book that was, written in 1700s, and 1800s. That
and we've got 1600s too.
Oh, yeah. Someone actually held this book so long ago,
Yeah, and people, also, we have so many signed first editions as well. So it's kind of amazing that someone went to the trouble of going to a book signing years and years ago, got the author's signature and sometimes little notes, and we find books where newspaper clippings were saved about the author, about the topic, and handwritten notes in them as well. So it's pretty fascinating how these have been treasures for some families, but then when someone passes away, the family members don't necessarily appreciate all of the attachment that the prior owner who passed away had, and they end up going in an estate sale or whatever. So, what else is on your list there?
Well, I think those are let me just
You
check
look at your
this
list.
out
Yeah.
here.
The
My
other-
little post-it sticker.
Okay. The other thing I'll mention is we got the Cybertruck. After almost 5 years of waiting, we got the Cybertruck. It's the best darn truck or vehicle I've ever owned. It's amazing.
And it's so nice because there's so many years, like we ordered it, like we got it just shy of 5 years from ordering it, and we've been just creeping along with the other one, you
Yeah,
know,
with
because
the
it was
other
a
one.
2003. But now, like we would make decisions, well, we can't go pick that up because we don't have a truck, it's not fitting in the car, you
Yeah.
know?
So a lot of the projects that I had,
There's a dog or something out there, out by the sugar shack, something with a tail. Maybe it's the neighbor's dog. It doesn't look
Okay.
like a fox. Okay, little interruption there.
I forgot what I was saying.
Cybertruck,
Yeah, I know it's,
appreciation.
yeah, well anyways, so the Cybertruck, it's been amazing. I've hauled so much stuff with it already, toolboxes, different equipment, going back and forth to the rental property and other places, picking up supplies, doing repairs, and I'm in the process now of trying to fit it for all of the different functions that we have here on the farm. I've had it off-roading down and back around the beaver ponds, going through deep mud, going through the swale systems. Really is amazing, and the comfort and drivability of it, the handling, I've never driven anything like it whatsoever.
And I've driven trucks and dual wheels and hauled horse trailers before. And when I get in this, it's like driving a car,
yeah.
you know?
And it's simple one-handed driving too, with the steer-by-wire and all four wheels turning. It's just so easy. It's not a huge truck, but it's not a small car either, and it turns like a Prius or like a Camry, but with ease, because you just have to move your wrists from side to side. And the full self-driving, that is so amazing. I was driving yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was the day before yesterday. I had to exchange a tool, a workbench, like a tool cabinet, to Harbor Freight. And so I just used full self-driving, and it drives there. And of course, there was the civil sanitation, we used to call them garbage men, driving the big truck, and they stop and they go across the road and get their stuff. And it navigates everything so well. Well, there's some boxes, and we're talking small boxes, smaller than a cat, in the road, and it even avoided those with other oncoming traffic, and it's just amazing. It's evolving so rapidly, the full self-driving and all, and we'll see how well it does. It has no trouble handling the snow here. It can drive through fairly deep snow. Well, I don't know how deep is snow yet, but
That's why we always take it when we're going together, you know, in the
Yeah.
winter here. So we
Yeah.
take the truck.
It handles the snow very, very well. With the electric motors, there's almost no slipping whatsoever. It's in milliseconds that the computer recognizes that it's slipping here, and it adjusts for it. So it really, you can feel like that sort of thing, and when it's going through some big slush, but no problem. The one thing I would say that I'm still reluctant about with full self-driving is when we're the first ones on the road, nobody's plowed or anything. It's hard to see. There's no markers. There's no signs of where the shoulder of the roads are. You know, and so when you're out there, it'll go right down close to the middle of the road, or it could potentially. I worry about it following someone else's tracks that could go off the road. So we'll have to see. in deep snow, before snow plows are there.
And they'll
how it
improve
works.
it, they're still working on the full self-driving.
Yeah, it's constantly getting updated. We've had several, software, firmware updates, over-the-air updates, and that's worked out great.
Did you want to say anything about, I know we'll talk about it for next year, but the barn workshop area? I mean, you did start to make a pretty good dent in that this year, and
Yeah.
why you're doing it in workstations, et cetera.
Yeah, the workshop has been like a nemesis for me for years. When we did the major renovation, and that was a couple decades ago, so many tools got put in buckets and in boxes and in bins and everything just sort of got stacked to the side while the construction was going on, and things always ended up getting piled up. And then I had my big fabrication table, the big welding table, 16-foot long table, that all my tools and everything would get piled on there, because I'd come in from doing one thing, something else would break, I'd go grab some tools to do that, and then I'd be searching for the tools. So I've been in the process of buying more of the US General brand from Harbor Freight tool chests over the last couple of years, and I just made a video about the Yukon workbench cabinet that I just did an exchange with. So that's been an ongoing project, and Thea's been out there helping me get things somewhat organized and all. So each tool cabinet will serve as a function for, let's say, when I'm doing my electrical work, or when I'm doing welding work, or when I'm doing framing work versus generalized repair work versus finish work, those sorts of things. So each set of tools will go in, and of course some of them cross the different areas, but we'll be able to say, okay, this should go to this one. Like we've got 3 of the garden cabinets right now, and so we just have all our garden supplies, not all of them, but we've got a lot of the garden supplies in 3 different cabinets.
And it's nice for me because there's so many tools he'll get, and I'll be like, what is that for?
Yeah.
What does that do? So that made it a little difficult for me when I was putting similar things in a particular cabinet, because I'm like, well, I have to stick this aside because I don't know what the function is of this tool.
Yeah.
So we could figure out which cabinet. But we're getting there. At least we started this year.
So it's coming. Good. Anything else on your list for 2024?
Just that I had some health issues which made things a little more challenging around here, because I wasn't able to do 75 miles an hour,
Yep.
and all. It's just some interstitial lung disease, allergic to a parrot. So I have to be careful with that. And then I had some back issues, osteoporosis, which compress 5 different vertebrae and all. Which was
Fractures, yeah.
Fractures, yeah. Really painful. I never thought osteoporosis was painful and would do that. It's just maybe slipped my mind. So I'm feeling better, but I'm only supposed to pick up maximum 10 pounds, and I'm starting some extra injectable medication to strengthen my bones next week. But that made it more difficult, because now I have to say, Kevin, can you take this grain bag and fill it in the garbage can? Kevin, can you lift this? Which takes him away from doing his things. And I didn't pick as much raspberries as I would have, because I just couldn't bend, to pick that. I had one of my friends came up and did a lot of help. I mean, everything from picking things, or we moved all the pots in the greenhouse to put them up together with the insulation. She lifted all those things, with Kevin, to get that done. And, God bless her, she comes and helps me clean the house too,
Yeah.
So that has changed some of my abilities, which put a little damper on our 2024.
Yeah. So things, in life, you've got to stop and reassess. We don't ever necessarily anticipate such a setback and how it would have a detrimental effect on our quality of life. The pain that you've been in a lot of pain, and it's scary too when these changes happen in your body, and you've got to deal with it. It's not just physical pain; it's it's stressful as well.
But yeah, you get emotional about it because I'm always, I'm going to be 71 in a week,
Yeah.
but I think I'm 20. So and I've always had that attitude. Well, I can do it, and so now it's like a realization kicked in, like, well, maybe I'm supposed to not do it or slow down some, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's
so it's eye-opening 2024 for health.
Yeah, and I've had issues with my back on and off throughout the process. And right now I've been eating so much and doing a fraction of what I normally would be doing. And I've got to be careful once I hurt my back, especially with the heavy books or the heavy plants, those sorts of things. So those are things we've got to make sure we're always trying to determine, is this worth having the bigger plants? Is it worth, because getting injured, it just isn't worth it, and injuries take longer for us to heal, and repetitive injuries can mean that we don't ever get back to that state that we were at before we got injured.
And even the books are heavy, and it's where we store them in those totes is up a flight of stairs,
right,
in there. So I can bring some up to put in the totes, but then I have to make like 3 trips, or Kevin, goes and takes them away from his thing. But
yeah, so I guess what we're talking about right now is one more transition phase in our lives. We have to really say, okay, reassess. Where are we at now? What are our resources? What are our abilities, our capabilities? And what's the best use of our time and energy? And so
let's talk about 2025, because today's the first day of it.
Okay. You want to start off?
Well, yeah, we'll just kind of talk about like our categories that we have. Bruce Almighty here is helping us, I see. So we decided we're going to continue with the nursery, and we're going to continue with the book sales this year. So
we won't be trying to go out and get as many books for estate sales and that way. I was pretty active trying to go to different opportunities, would it be a library sale or whatever. So that's going to slow down quite a bit as far as acquiring more books. I'll probably be running more sales to try and reduce the number of books that we've currently got.
Because we have just about 3,000 up in the barn.
Yeah. Well, 3,000 listed, but some of them are multiple books in a set. So there's probably over 4,000 books that we've got up there. So that's one of the things. And I see it is one of the neighbor's dogs out there now.
Oh yeah, I see him trotting there. Big dog.
So I think that covers what our plans are. So
for book and nursery, though, we're going to continue that, right?
Yep, continue the nursery, but really try to reduce down. We may end up, starting to sell bare root online plants, but if that's more of a hassle, then we just won't do it.
Yeah.
Shipping has always been a challenge, and we ship every day with the used books and all. But shipping prices just keep going up. It used to be every 6 months the United States Postal Service would increase rates every 6 months. Now it's happening more often than that, and it's kind of tough. And shipping supplies are getting more and more expensive as well. I just ordered quite a few more bubble mailers for us just day before yesterday.
Yeah. So. And I think with our garden topic this year, we do still want to plant we already did, the garlic and the shallots.
Yep.
And we want to go ahead and have some tomatoes.
Yep.
Things and kale, things we eat a lot. And of course our berry bushes, they're just keep coming back every year. We have a lot of those. There's smoothies every morning of them, but not big plots.
Well, we used to do it more like market gardeners, having 30 of a full row of tomato plants and a
33 of them, to be exact.
or having full rows of peppers, full rows of cabbage or broccoli or cauliflower, and all the different ones. And we're more into the perennials now, so more of the blueberry bushes and blackberry bushes and raspberry bushes and so on. But we've moved those up closer this last year up into this area. I don't anticipate us expanding anymore. Anything else you can think about?
No, I just think that, the ones we did this year, just do the same type of thing next year. We planted some corn and, but just a little bit. And just focusing, like you said, on the perennials, because there's less work and, they're healthy plants.
It's more, I don't know, I'd say it's less work, but there isn't all of the, sowing each year over and over again. There is the maintenance of caring for them and harvesting and thinning and all. And I've been really bad about thinning the fruit trees, and pruning and all. I've been behind on that, just doing all the other things. But that's something that we never get all of the harvest of anything. Like we got buckets of hazelnuts, but there was buckets that were still left there for all the wildlife. Same thing with the apples or the peaches, whatever it may be.
And I feel good about that. I mean, I kind of, I don't, I say, well, there's apples and they're falling on the ground. That's great. Nature is happy.
Yep.
I don't have to pick. And before I was like, I gotta get every apple and every peach. Now it's like, goes right back.
And when you walk through the food forest amongst the trees out there, yesterday I was out there doing a little bit of work in the first food forest, and you couldn't walk more. In 10 yards there were 10 pellets from the white-tailed deer that have been there. And you see all their hooves, because it's thawed out right now, it's raining right now, where their hooves have walked over the area, and just sort of, so it's just like nature had been done before man came in and started doing the changes that we've done with the modern agricultural system. So it's more regenerative farming going on in the food forest. So I love seeing that. So having that bountiful excess food for us being there for the wildlife has really paid off a lot.
So pretty much this year is going to be continue the nursery, continue the book selling, having a garden still, but just keeping it like we did in 24, minimal what we'll eat and give to friends and things like that.
And the cover crops, keeping the cover crops, that works out so well. We may be reducing weed mats this year again and seeing what we can do. We're going to be doing more work with trying to modify, trying to make it less work, and using less synthetic products.
Yeah, and continuing, of course, the workshop, because both of us say, well, we got to do this outside, but then if it takes you an hour to find a tool, sometimes it's better just spending these hours working on the organization where where everything is. Another thing is, we talked about little things in the house need to be done. Well, some big things in the house need to be done, and the garage sheetrock and that whole project, and someday we have to replace the windows and the doors. So we're trying to figure out, when do we fit this type of thing in? Do we hire people or what?
Yeah, I haven't had the best experiences hiring contractors to do work in the past, but I'm just going to have to find people in the future that I can trust and get evidence of their work and that they do what's agreed upon. So that's something. So there's a lot of work, and I'll be discussing this in future videos, to be done around here. Lots of renovations to be done with our personal property, our buildings and all that. And did you have something else there?
No, pretty much for me personally is taking, and it should be for you, taking care of our health. Like not lifting, you too, some heavy things, getting the cart, just taking care of ourselves so we can do the things we like to do. And I've always been, I have to get this done, that done, check it off the list. But I'm kind of thinking that, well, maybe I should do what I like to do or want to do, and to have the joy of doing it, and instead of the pressure of doing it, you know. And you say too, well, and there's so much more that I have to do all the time, you know, and
Yeah.
so kind of enjoying the moment along the path, you know, and instead of being tense about what has to be done on the path.
Well, you, like your little note here, you've got to every day write all your lists, and if you don't get them all checked off, you get.
God forbid.
So we may.
Now I have like arrows from that date down to the next day. Well, didn't get that one done. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just life happens, and you can't always get everything done that you want to get done. I don't even want to sit down and make a list, because it's depressing when I think about all the things that I want to do and need to do.
Yeah.
I just prioritize each day.
Yep.
What's got to be done.
I think Bruce wants you.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anything else. Just,
No.
you know.
If you have any comments or questions at all, please leave it in the description, not in the description, in the comments below. Let us know other things that you'd like. I mean, there's so many things that we could be talking about, but I think this is enough for today, just chatting about these things, just giving you an update, you know, how we see things. I think things went pretty well in general for 2024, given all of the challenges that we had. I'm pretty happy with how everything worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you think you agree?
Yeah, I do, and I'm looking forward to this year and carrying on and seeing what I can play with outside.
Yeah. Right now it's overcast, it's rainy. We're having a storm front moving in soon, and I never like it when the ground is sopping wet, and I've got to do snow blowing on top of it, because I'm going to have to be doing some snow blowing here in the next few days.
Yeah, the Channel 3's been warning and telling you each day as we progress towards the weekend when the big front's supposed to come in. So we're just getting prepped for that. I did all the grocery shopping. We have food.
So we're pretty much set now. So I just want to say I really thank everyone for leaving comments and giving us, you know, thumbs up and all. And the questions that people ask, and some of the comments are just amazing. So nice that people are from all over the world who find us and leave wonderful comments. It's very uplifting, and we greatly appreciate it an awful lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I really hope that everybody has a beautiful season coming up before us here. The days are getting longer now here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm really looking forward to the days getting longer. And we're headed for some winter, but there'll be a beautiful spring that comes after that, ultimately.
Yep. Once we get through February, we're good.
That's right. So once again, I really appreciate you all for watching and contributing, being almost like an extended family out there. It's really nice. And I wish you all the very best for 2025. We look forward to pushing out more videos as time goes on.
Yep.
All right.
Take care, you guys. Thank you for listening, and enjoy your day.
Stay safe and take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.